Hello, ladies and gentlemen, back to you. Adult Team LA like. Welcome back to MediEvil Resurrection on the PSP. And now we get to a new level, the Hilltop
The
Mausoleum.
Hilltop Mausoleum. Think of it as a kind of pet shop, but with less fragrant purchasing choices.
What?
Oh, Daniel Danikins. You are so persistent, I'll give you that. But then so are beggars' babies. And I trample those underfoot, too.
Okay.
Look, you really must get it into your thick, exposed cranium. You cannot stop me from conquering Gallowmere. Already I have transformed the populace into servile zombies and drained the sunlight from the skies, withering many a tomato plant in the process. How could a spindly monovisual carcass like you reverse the momentum of such an epic master plan? And see where your stubbornness has got you? Do you see? You're trapped forever in this necropolis. Still, you could always discuss your predicament with my good friend up there. I'm sure he'd do his best to help you.
Stained glass demon.
Sadly, I can't hang about to listen to the musical twang of your tendons. My army is amassed, and it will not be long before my scouts locate the demon claw that will unlock my beloved shadow demons. I must return home to oversee the invasion of this pathetic realm, and possibly take a power nap.
Well, thanks for that long explanation.
Imps are sticky-fingered thieves. Trust me, we can spot our own.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, thanks for telling me that whole plan. Exposition. But yeah, Zarok is more ridiculous in this game than than in the original, so at least there's that. You're entering a house of pain. Unspeakable evil lurks secret catacombs below this very hall. Basically, what he said before, imps. There are creatures in this game called imps that basically steal your weapons. So be very careful. Because trust me, having your imp steal your weapon is kind of annoying. Give that back. Oh. See, that's what happens when an imp steals your weapon. It's very annoying. And let me tell you, it's not fun. But I will say, you can actually get your weapons back, so don't worry, it's not gone forever. It's just slightly gone until a certain point. And see, this is kind of what I mean by they replenish your hammer a lot, or your club a lot. Even though if you try hard enough, you'll find, you know, the hammer very easily. Like, literally, the hammer is like the second weapon you get at the Hall of Heroes. So it's like, you kind of need to intentionally not find the first two chalices just to be able to get this hammer. And I know some people will say, well, you might not have been able to get it until this level. And it's like, okay, if you don't look for it enough. And whatever. Like, I can understand, like, the second level is kind of hard to find the chalice. But at the same time, it's like the next level, this level, you can find the chalice very easily. And very, very simply, actually. So it's like, it's a bit of like, kind of makes some sense, but not completely. But yeah, that's kind of why I destroyed the tops of those steel gravestones. Because I needed to do that. Back off. That's kind of what I meant by you can hit these weird scurrying creatures on the ground with your long sword instead of using your hammer. It's kind of fun. At least I think it's fun. Bam! 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 And also the hammer can do this, by the way. It can literally break these weird stone or, no, crystal spikes, which appear in other levels for some reason. Like here, it makes sense. Like these, you know, the stained glass demon, crystal-esque spikes. This makes sense. Later in the game, when these things return, I don't get where they come from, but it kind of makes some sense.
The floor is collapsing! Run! Run! Get out quick!
Also, this is why I destroyed these spikes. I know it could make the game more challenging by keeping those spikes there for me to dodge, but at the same time, no, I just want to, like, play this game at my own pace, and I like doing that. Breaking the game slightly. Or, you know, making the game easier for me because it's fun, because the game can allow me to do that. But one thing I will say, though, in terms of, like, the actual game's save system real quick, I have no idea whether or not the original did this, but this remake, at least, or reimagining, does a good save system because as soon as you save, it actually saves you in the place and point in the level to which you can actually load up the game and be right where, like, you know, your particular save. Because, like, it could have, like, booted you out of the level and made you be able to enter the level, or saved only at the, what do you call it? A certain part of the level and let you keep your health, your gold, and just kicked you out of the level and said, okay.
You narcoleptic klutz.
You know, could have just said, hey, you saved at this point. Guess what? Let's boot you at the beginning of the stage, or just make you, like, exit out and enter the stage again with everything resetting, except for your gold and your health. So that's like, that seems kind of dumb of a save point. So I will applaud them for making sure they had the save system to where it actually saved you at a point in the level with everything that's happened. That can both help and hurt you, so it depends on how you feel about it. Okay, just checking something real quick. But yeah, it was a little dark for me, so... I mean the screen. Like, the screen was a little bit dark for me, so... Here it is a little bit better. Give me that back. Jesus. By the way, real quick. If you do lose a weapon, it actually ends up here for some reason. Like in the original game, I think there was a particular point in the level where you could literally get your weapons back. But I forget where. But here, you can find your weapons here if they ever end up here. Yes, that was English. I don't know.
I trust you find yourself in a cash-rich situation.
Yes, I do. And why not refill on that? And just in case, I used the throwing daggers once against the demon, against this glass stained demon, but not because, like, oh, it did more damage, but just to say, like, you know, a bit of an FU to him. Like, oh, I had the crossbow that was very good, but I decided to use a weaker weapon to defeat him or finish him off. It was kind of funny to me. His wretched soul is preserved inside of a frozen glass heart. It lies shrouded in a veil of darkness beyond this very gate. Okay, so yeah, I need to get this gate open and then burn his heart. And technically speaking, that's a metaphor of some kind, but it actually is what I have to do. Okay, I was like wondering, I could have sworn I took health damage, so I'm thinking like, okay, I could have sworn I need a little top up somewhere. But yeah, it's actually, the top up I need is my health bar to the right. When in doubt, if you want to switch, hit a hammer with it. Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. Let's see. Okay, real quick, let me get this, and let me run. Okay, I'm just double checking whether or not I actually have one particular item I need. So yeah, by the way, the game kind of wants you to go around throughout the other way to get to here, but I figured out just going back down is a lot easier. So at least there's that. But yeah, real quick, the reason why I'm coming back here is because I need this.
Not again! The floor is giving way, Dan! Run for our lives!
I know, dude. Calm down. And, are you done? Are you done? Okay, good. So, yeah, that's kind of why I went through went to get this, because it's easier to get this sooner than later. And there's a particular reason for that. Anything else? No? Okay, just double checking. So, anyway, the reason why I needed that music sheet was because of this guy that's going to be coming up in a second. I will say that kind of breaks the pace of the level when every single, time you meet a new character, a cutscene happens. But it's not bad. It's trying to build up and, do more story. So, I'm not against that. At least not to a degree.
I am compelled by some primal force always to play this song of fear and sadness. Please, bring me new music, that I may break this cycle of endless misery. Go on, do us a favor. It's driving me mental.
I think. Yeah, that's why I brought the music sheet. Hold on a second. Sorry. I'm in a Discord server with a YouTuber that I like named MaxAFewTrades, and he's playing an old Xbox game. Something called Grabbed by the Ghoulies? Ghoulies? Or just Ghoulies? Okay, maybe it's just Ghoulies. And I don't think it's a game that's actually what's it called? Oh, a licensed game about the Goonies, because they're the Goonies, not the Ghoulies. So this original Xbox game is, he's playing it, and I'm asking him a question of whether or not he's actually, did he play it with the original Duke? Man, if anyone doesn't know what the Duke is, oh boy. Oh man, that controller was so cumbersome when I first used it. Man. It kind of makes me laugh thinking that he did it, but at the same time, I know he didn't. I'm pretty sure he played it on an Xbox 360 or Xbox One, depending on what console he has. So he backwards compatibility played it, so that way he didn't have to use the Duke. Oh man, that'd be kind of funny if he did, because that'd be the scariest thing to hear. Oh yeah, I used the Duke for this game. Oh man, that's so goddamn funny. But hopefully I'm able to get through this without, anyway, yeah, sorry if I took so long, but anyway, hopefully I'm able to get through this without too much issue. But here's your music sheet, friend. Yeah, anytime you give him a music sheet, he gives you, he opens up these gates for you. So, hey, there's that positive. Real quick. So, now I have the Chaos Rune, and I can just head out. I will say, I do like the arm starts reaching for you once you have the rune, the actual rune for it, so it's like, it makes sense why it's starting to reach for you. So it makes sense here. First, I know the spikes are supposed to make it more challenging, but if you give me a weapon that does this, I'm going to do this, to abuse it. Because it's in my right to use the hammer how I want it. After all, I've been using the longsword more than the actual hammer, so at least there's that. Another song seat and some gold. There's some gold in their graves, or mausoleums. Just really wanted to get the gold real quick. And then I wanted to get out of here and quickly go up to the music guy and give him his last sheet, so that way he can get the what do you call it? So he can get the chalice real quick. Because, like, as soon as you put that small candle thing down and, kill off or, destroy the demon heart that's down there, the crystal demon heart, the boss is going to spawn in, and he's going to literally just, as soon as you enter this place, it's going to make you literally fight him. I know there's a way to avoid it, but, yeah. If that happens, I'm just gonna be like, might as well just fight him, like, directly. Like, why beat around the bush? So, that's gonna take some time. Anyway, let's deal with this guy's heart. But as you can see, for some, like, I understand it's a cold heart, so, you know, burning it makes sense. Although glass, I think, would be a little bit weirder to burn, but whatever. I will say, I do like how the music changes once you give him music notes. It makes it more orchestral and weird, so at least there's that. Although I do like the music in this game pretty good. I do like the original better. But it's like, it's different and it makes it sound better technically, so it's a positive here and there, so it depends on taste. So, yeah. Hold up. Yeah, okay. So you can avoid the boss fight and just give him the last music sheet, but like I felt like as if it would have been a thing where it's like, I kind of just want to fight the boss before like doing anything else. It's like, it's right here, so might as well do it. So here it is. All you have to do is walk into that line of light in order to start the boss fight. First, here we go. Okay, just making sure, like, you can't really equip it with a crossbow. But yeah, you need projectile weapons for this fight because, well, you'll see in a second. Whoa. Yeah.
Looks like the heart is his only weak point.
And that's why I've, you know, decided to use crossbow, because that's literally the only way you can actually damage the guy. Literally going into the, not the corner. Not going to the corner, but actually, you know, dodge his attacks and then immediately hit his heart when he exposes it. At least for most of the boss fights that do this, they at least keep the camera fixed so that way he doesn't, like, impede on your progress and all that stuff. At least I think that's the case. Hopefully I'm right. Because, like, most of the boss fights cameras at least aren't terrible, so at least there's that. I will say, the glass demon fight in the original, I think is about as faithful as you could get here. Or at least originally made here. I think when it's jumping around to reposition itself, it does a better job in the original than it does here. Although the jump stop here is actually pretty decent. Oh yeah, if you stay in place for too long, it'll fire a crystal beam, which will freeze you in place, making you easier to hit. See? And you have to mash, like, the attack buttons in order to escape it. Thankfully, though, they give you enough throwing daggers to help you fight off against this thing. So at least you're not 100%, like, doomed. By the way, I use the whole jumping back sideways thing because I want to, not because it's, like, better. It's mainly for style points. I know you can literally just normal jump over them, but I don't think the original glass demon fight actually had any more attacks other than this. I think it literally just threw, jumped, and did certain little attacks like this. So I think it's pretty faithful. If you stay too long in that glass prison, it'll literally do damage to you. And I mean that literally. It'll literally do, like, some type of poison effect damage where it hurts you. So you have to get out of there really quickly. I'm not sure whether or not mashing one button helps you better than, you know, just simply... Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I thought I could get it last in because it's like, look at that, it's so much sliver of health. It's like literally such a lower sliver of health. There we go. Ooh. That's literally abrupt. I will say I prefer the original's like cutscene-esque thing where it kills off the enemy.
Goddess of popular beat combos. I underestimated you, my friend. dying obviously did you the world of good.
Kind of.
That key opens the glass demon gate in the cemetery.
Oh yeah, one interesting little factoid, I guess, in the original game that they cut out of content was the fact that Dan actually had a worm, which I don't think spoke in his head that helped him with certain puzzles. And it was supposed to have a level in which it was sort of like a side-scroller game in one of these games. Or at least in one of these levels, at least in the original. But they cut it out because, you know, no time for that, I guess. Which I think would have which actually would have been interesting as like a side little content, but whatever. So I guess Al basically replaces that particular concept. But at least it's something, I don't know. I find it interesting more than anything else that, you know, that was a concept that they decided to scrap, and then they decided to implement here with an actual character, you know, to at least make Dan's journey not completely lonely. At least I think of it like that, I don't know. I could be wrong, but whatever. Before I go to the Hall of Heroes, really, real quick, I do want to replenish on arrows because, well, I used a lot, and I missed a lot.
I trust you find yourself in a cash-rich situation?
Kind of. Okay, I think that's enough. I don't think it replenished everything, but it's close enough. Don't want to spend a lot of gold just yet until I can actually get to a certain point where I think I can get a lot of gold. Because some of the levels in this game get a little bit harder. And I mean in this game.
Like Valhalla, only I'm legally obliged to say we're not affiliated.
Yeah, unfortunately Marvel owns that. You know what, that'd be kind of cool to see in the Marvel Universe. We actually see the afterlife, and considering of what happened, Endgame spoiler alert, just in case if anyone hasn't seen Endgame, even though it really should have been like simple. Just skip like a minute, like literally at the 27-minute mark, just skip to that point. Tony dies, so basically it would be cool to actually see him in Valhalla and see people like literally just like whoever character dies, maybe Steve, see him literally rejoin with him and talk with him. Maybe Pepper, although that'd be a little bit too sad, I guess. Just see her talking with Tony and, you know, them hugging in the afterlife. And maybe see someone else, you know, but, you know, that's sad. But, yeah, okay, I'm gonna end spoilers. That's, you know, I'm just gonna wait until the time comes. Okay, welcome back. Well, actually, I don't think it's actually the 27-minute mark because, you know, I'm actually going to be basically, you know, cutting down the part where I was silent the whole time. So I think it was literally just at a certain point that I do the whole, oh, let me explain this whole situation thing. Or spoil Endgame. And explain Valhalla there. But it'd be pretty cool to see Valhalla in the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe. So at least there's that. But yeah, okay, now we have access to the top part of the Hall of Heroes. I will say that's something that this remake does differently than the original. It took a while, a little bit more longer, before you could get to the Hall of Heroes. Like, literally, like, I think in the original, if you got all the chalices up until this point, you know, to the mausoleum, you get the Warhammer instead of, you know, something else. At least I think so. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I just remember specifically you get the crossbow first and you get the Warhammer technically last in this row of things. I don't know. It feels a little bit weird, depending. But anyway, the collectional stuff for the Hall of Heroes is a little bit different here because you can get up to the top earlier. And you get different weapons here and there. I will say the way they handle it is a little bit better here, but I'll explain to it when we get to it. Because like that's a different talking point for another time.
Dan the man. Tell me, what's a warrior queen got to do to get a guy like you? Don't be shy, baby. I've seen you giving me the eye. You may be weak and feeble like all men, but I like you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Here, lover, hold my spear. Grip it tight now, and think of me when you throw it.
Yeah, you can definitely tell they had fun with the jiggle physics around here. So basically, yeah, she gave us a spear, another projectile weapon that you can actually use for short-range attacks, or long-range attacks. You can actually stab people with it. But also, you can use a shield with it, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, this ranged weapon slash long range poking stick really doesn't have much to it. It doesn't really have combos, but it's pretty cool. If you press the strong button, you just throw the thing. Although if you hold down, I think this does a charge attack, which is stronger, I think? I'm not sure 100%, but I think it does something. Also, if you hold down the regular attack, it does a simple, like, spear attack, like, you know, your sword. So at least there's that. But at least you can use a shield with it. It's the only ranged weapon, well, it's one of the only few ranged weapons that you can actually use, you know, a shield with it. Another weapon is an axe, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So, you know, this has been pretty productive. I have to use the bathroom, so I'll be back. And I'll be playing another level of MediEvil. So until then, take care, my bots. Sayonara. Until the next episode of MediEvil.